Alrighty, so for this one, we are going to talk about how to prep our books to become altered books. Now, your book might have a lot of pages, it might not have a lot of pages, but we need to, regardless of how many it has, take out about half of them. Because what's going to happen is as we fill these books with art of various sizes, that stuff is going to add in here. And if you don't get rid of it, it's just going to slowly but surely kind of get bigger and bigger and bigger. But we want it to stay very level. So we need to then cut out these pages so that it's got more space and more room to grow. So you can do this multiple ways. So like you can see here, these ones were cut very close, whereas this one's more like a tab. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do this. So this is my little book here. And so a couple of things before you just start tearing out pages. Are there any pages in here that you really like and want to keep? Make sure that you know what they are. Because like if you have a picture book and you're like, I really like this picture, don't get rid of it. Are you planning on doing like a hollow book kind of a thing? So like towards the back, are you going to be cutting out a lot of pages and putting stuff in there? Don't cut those pages out. I think that was B. So when we're on to C, next thing is don't cut them all out of the same section. Don't be like, I'm going to take out all these pages. Because what that's going to do is it's going to leave a huge gap here, but not a lot of space towards the back. Okay, now if we look at our book here, you can see that this is our spine here, and there are a bunch of different signatures, because essentially what your pages in a book are there a long page that's then folded in half, and that's how you get your pages. So if you cut too close to the spine, or if you tear all the way down to the spine, you're actually going to lose both sides of that page, which you might not want to have happen. So what you need to do is instead go a little bit farther out. So like I said, there are multiple ways to do it. My favorite tends to be just taking a ruler, going kind of right where I want it to be, and then just tearing it out like that. Because if you tear it out like this, you're gonna end up with, like, sometimes it goes weird and edgy like that. You don't wanna do too much. Now, you can save these pages if you want, you can recycle them, it's all up to you, but you want to get rid of, like I said, about half. So if I look at my book here, my pages are numbered, so I have 235 pages. I have a lot of pages to get rid of. So a good rule of thumb is just to kind of like tear a couple, skip a couple, tear a couple, skip a couple. So I tore a couple and I skipped a couple, and now I can either go in with my X-Acto knife with a ruler. And if you're gonna do that, remember your X-Acto knife is probably gonna cut through more than 1 or 2 pages. All right, so if like I really wanted to keep this page, I should have put something in between. Or if you're like really, you think your X-Acto knife cutting skills are phenomenal, you can go in just freestyling it, but be careful that you don't go too close to your spine again. So I apparently didn't push all that hard and I didn't get all the way through that one, so I'm gonna have to go back over. All right, now, a couple of problems that tend to end up happening is people think, oh, I'm just gonna go after it with scissors like this. Well, that doesn't really work because your scissors can't get all that close. So you're gonna end up with kind of a chunk. Or they kind of just tear out a huge, like they tear out like this and they're like, oh, I'll go back in and fill it in and make it nicer later. So you got like a weird tear like this. Little pieces like this are harder to tear properly. So it's better to just take your time and do it properly at the beginning than all the way at the end, okay? Another thing that I've seen kiddos do is they try to use the X-Acto knife like it's a saw. It is not a saw, it is a scalpel. So if I go to my next couple pages here and I go like this, it's not gonna work. You need to make sure that you're using it for its intended purpose, not just willy-nilly, let's use the sharp thing however we want, okay? So I'm gonna keep going until I've got about half my pages torn out here. And like I said, if there are certain ones that you wanna keep, or if you're doing ones like, I think I might do a hollowed out book at the back, so that means I have to take out more pages closer to the front. But you can see already I'm starting to get a little bit of extra wiggle room in there. So I'm just gonna keep going and tearing out my pages. right, and I just remembered I forgot to show you guys. All right, oop, I got some torn pages here. I've got some cut pages actually. If you're left-handed, the same thing happens, except that you obviously go from this side because that's easier for you. You don't have to, it's just that a lot of my left-handed kiddos find that easier. I'm obviously not left-handed, so this is not easier for me. Plus these pages are a little on the small side. But yeah, so you can always just jump to the other side, or like, let's say you can just flip the page. Like, your goal is not to like make life difficult for you, it's to make it so that this is to make your life easier down the road, okay? So I'm gonna keep going, but like as you can see, I'm starting to get, instead of a flat cover book, I'm starting to get, it's tilting down a little bit. You're looking for like a nice angle, which I'm starting to get there. All right, so like I said, I want to do one of those hollowed out backs, I think. So I want to leave these pages. I can always go in and tear them out later, but if I tear them out now, I can't go back and put them in. So I need to take out a little bit more towards the front since I'm leaving so much in the back. But as you can see, I am getting that nice angle for my book cover. So I think I'm just gonna take out a few more, and then I might go back in and kind of neaten up some of it, because the ones where I took out more pages at a time than like 2 or 3, I got a little overzealous and I got a couple of rough edges there.